Welcome to the WalterFootball.com podcast. This is episode 302. This is our Week 9 NFL Picks Against the Spread video. Joined once again by Jacob Kamaker from the Sporting News. Jacob, how are you, and how is your Week 8?
I'm doing great. I've been up since about 5 a.m. So it's my brain's operating at peak efficiency at this point. My Week 8 was very frustrating. I had my worst week of the year for the third straight week. I went 6-8, so it's not, again, I will take that as my worst week. That's fine. But I had a couple games, the Chargers game, I was on the Chargers, and they blew the game late. And then I switched my pick on the Buccaneers-Giants, and the reasoning behind it was strong because the Giants are terrible. But in my brain last week, we were talking, and I was like, Brady just doesn't play well against the Giants. Like, it never goes well, and there's look-ahead opportunity. But I switched it because I chickened out, and that I avoided a 500 week because of that game. So I'm a little mad at myself for that. But, this week we're going to bounce back, and I really like this week's slate. There are a lot of underdogs I like, too, just a hint. So, I think we're going to have some fun on this slate.
Interesting, because I like a lot of favorites, so we might have some disagreements. That Buccaneers game, it was so weird. When Ronald Jones fumbled when they were up 3-0, and then the Giants scored, I'm like, all right, they're not going to cover the spread because it didn't seem like they were totally focused in on it. That kind of ended it's like a sour ending to the week, but I still went 9-5 overall, so definitely take that. My top plays both hit the Dolphins and the Seahawks, so I was happy to see that. And on a personal note, I went 5-0 in the Super Contest. So I was pretty stoked. So hopefully that continues. I remember last year was Week 9. That was kind of my downfall. So I'm kind of crossing my fingers because after Week 8 last year, I was leading in the gold contest. And then Week 9 happened and I went 1-4 against the spread in my 5 selections. So going to try to redeem myself here. So hopefully that happens. Before we begin, please hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Mean a lot, or hit the like button, notification bell, leave a comment. Or share this with someone who might like football. That would mean a lot to us. And there's nothing going on tonight. Although Brian points out we're going up against the election. Although you said that the election is going up against us, so I like that kind of talk. We're gonna get to survivor picks later, but let's get to the first game on the slate. It's the Thursday night game. Packers at the 49ers. This line opened up Packers -4. Actually, it was Packers -2.5, but the line closed because of Jimmy Garoppolo's injury. And then it went to 4, and now it's 5.5. So who do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like the Packers at 5.5. I mean, if you just look at the 49ers and what they're missing on offense, it's ridiculous. They're going to be without Jimmy G. Then they don't have Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, their 2 best receiving weapons. And then they're down their top 3 running backs in Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert, and Tevin Coleman, who's officially out for the game. So they're going to be significantly shorthanded there, and Nick Mullins is going to have to start. The Packers defense hasn't been good of late. I mean, they got gashed by Dalvin Cook, much to my dismay last week. But whenever you have an elite quarterback leading a team, if they lose, they almost always bounce back, or they at least have a good chance to. So Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing angry after his defense kind of let him down last game. And I think that he's going to do a lot to help the Packers move the ball down the field and score. And as Tyler just hit on, there really aren't any healthy running backs in this game because Green Bay might be without their top 3 running backs if Aaron Jones can't play. But I still trust Aaron Rodgers to move the ball, even if they never run the ball at all tomorrow. So I'm just going to go with the better team on Thursday night. I'm going with the Packers -5.5 for 2 units. I'm just not betting on Nick Mullins to get an offense with that few weapons on it moving enough to cover the spread.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on the Packers. The 49ers have to go against these elite quarterbacks coming off losses. So we had this dynamic last week with Russell Wilson, and that's why I like the Seahawks so much. We both had it in the Super Contest, so I was happy to see that happen. And the Seahawks didn't have their top 3 running backs either, so it's kind of like the same thing. Like the Packers are going to start Dexter Williams at running back, maybe Tyler Ervin, and it won't matter because Aaron Rodgers is going to be pissed, and the Niners defense still isn't at full strength. They don't have their edge rushers. They're still down Richard Sherman. On offense, they have Jimmy Garoppolo's out, George Kittle's out, their top running backs are out. So I definitely like the Packers, and to provide a number on that Rodgers coming off a loss. He's 31-15 against the spread off a loss. If you remove all the games in which he's favored by 7.5 or more, he is 20-8 against the spread off a loss, which is really great. So yeah, I'm definitely with you on the Packers, and this kind of follows the Thursday night rule, is to take the better team. If both teams are healthy, you could maybe argue that the Niners are the better team, but with no Garoppolo, no Kittle, no Nick Bosa, no D Ford, etc., I think the Packers are the better team.
Yeah, it's one of those classic situations that if you're talking about, even if it was Jimmy G's not playing and the rest of the 49ers are healthy, I think you could make a case that they could keep up with the Packers. But they just have far too many injuries at this point. The Packers, they're missing their running backs, but like you said, it didn't matter for the Seahawks last week. DJ Dallas had 18 carries for 46 yards, and they still built a massive lead on the 49ers and only really let them within an arm's length at the end of the game because they just were trying to run out the clock for the most part. So yeah, there's really no reason to go against the Packers here. And Aaron Rodgers is just continuing to play well, even if it didn't result in a win last week.
Yeah, running back's the one position where you can, have multiple injuries and be okay. It's not that big of a deal. I think week one, I made too much of a deal about the Jaguars missing Leonard Fournette and all their other top running backs like Raquel Armstead, and then James Robinson came out of nowhere and did well. You can always find a diamond in the rough running backs, the easiest position to do that with.